been doing on the past couple of days here. And I know, especially yesterday and the day before, many of the stuff you could do in your head. And we're getting to the point, though, that you can't. And if you don't have work to back up what you're doing, I can't give you credit for it. Okay? So I'm giving you the fair warning now. If you don't have work to walk me through every single step, you will not earn credit. To solve multi-step equations, we have to undo the operations by working through the order of operations backwards. Normally you talk about PEMDAS, okay? Addition and subtraction is at the end, but that's actually the first thing we're going to deal with. We have to get that variable alone, nothing added or subtracted to it. Then we'll use multiplication and division to worry about the coefficient. Okay? Very first problem, 75 equals 5w plus 10. Draw your line through your equal sign. If I cover up 5w, listen to what I'm asking you. What do I need to get rid of? Positive or negative currently? It's currently positive, so to get rid of it, I would. Very good. Show me that on both sides. 75 minus 10 is 65. 10 and negative 10 cancel. I drag down my 5w. Now my variable's alone. Now I need to worry about a positive 1 coefficient. 5 is directly next to w, which means what is happening right here? Multiplication. To undo multiplication, I need to specifically by 5. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. 65 divided by 5, 13. 5 divided by 5, 1w. 1. Okay. Go to the right. Try that one on your own. Negative 2 plus 5w equals negative 27. First thing I should have done, add 2 to both sides. Negative 2 and 2 cancel. I drag down 5w. Negative 27 plus 2. Negative 25. One thing I will caution you, people tend to write really quickly and that negative gets lost in their equal sign and then they lose it and they get the answer wrong. So be cautious of that. Leave yourself a little space. My next step, divide by 5. 1w equals negative 5. Okay? Nothing crazy. Question? It doesn't. I get in the habit of it, and I'll show you why in the next step. Okay? If you just had w equals negative 5, technically that's the same thing. The reason I always put a 1 is sometimes we have to combine like terms first. So in this case, our variables are in 2 separate pieces. We need to put them together. When they're on the same side, take them exactly how they are. 3x plus 4x is 7x equals 21. Then I should divide by 7. X equals 3. X equals 3. Let's go to the right. 213 equals 9 minus u. First thing I should do, subtract 9. Nicely done. 9 is positive because there's nothing in front of the 9. 213 minus 9. Say it again. Yes? I've told you guys I'm really bad at subtraction, right? Okay, so always double checking. I know I was like counting in my head. What's remaining on the right-hand side? Here's where I would definitely put a 1 in there, a negative 1u. Can you quit? Are you done? No. You have to have a positive 1 coefficient. Currently, what's my coefficient? Negative 1. How do I make it positive? I want to multiply. Say it again. Okay, does it matter? whether you divide by a -1 or you multiply by a -1, as long as whatever you do to one side, you do to the other, right? When you divide or multiply by a -1, what happens? It changes it to become positive, right? Whether you divide or you multiply, all you're doing is forcing that coefficient to become positive. 204 divided by -1, -204. So don't quit if you have a negative coefficient. Okay, those 4 problems, you're like, oh yeah, hopefully this is my whole assignment because I got this. Agreed? This is no big deal. And then the F word happens. Fart. Yeah, I wasn't really going for fart, but that is a bad thing too. Well, ladies, what's the actual F word here? Fractions. We hate fractions. I want to say I hate farts, but farts are funny, so it's just the way it is. Okay? Fractions. We hate fractions, and it always happens. People clam up, and they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Yes, you do. Okay? Fractions are just numbers. Stop panicking. In this case, this fraction on the left, the numerator is complex. It's complex because it has addition or subtraction in it. So when you have a complex fraction like this, the very first thing you need to do is to get rid of the denominator. Well, fractions really are just showing me division, yes? What's the opposite of division? So if I multiply both sides by 5, on the right, where the fraction is, the 5 in the denominator cancels the 5 in the numerator. What's remaining? 3x minus 5, only the numerator. On the left, bless you, 5 times -4, -20. Not so bad now, yes? What's my next step? Add 5. -20 plus 5. -15 equals 3x. Then I should divide by 3. X equals -5. Okay? What's different about the problem to the right? There's 3 separate fractions. See that? There's 3 separate fractions. You don't have a complex fraction with one denominator and addition or subtraction in the numerator. And not only do you have 3 separate fractions, but you actually have 3 separate denominators here. Everybody agree, though, if we got rid of fractions and I just had whole number coefficients, you guys wouldn't bat an eye at this, agreed? So if we could get rid of the fractions, life would be fine. Well, what creates a fraction is when we divide by that denominator. So if I can remove the denominator from the situation, I will have whole numbers to work with, and life will be great. So think before you shout. I want to pick one number, and one number only, that I want to multiply by, that will cancel every denominator. Think. Don't shout. Think for a second. On the left, I got to multiply by 5 because my 5 will cancel my denominator. I want one number, and one number only, that I can multiply by that will cancel all 3 of my denominators. Caden. When I multiply by 1, I'm going to cancel a 3 denominator. Sophia. 15. When I multiply by 15, I'm going to cancel a 2. Jackson? 30. When I multiply by 30, will I cancel a 3? 3 goes into 30. When I multiply by 30, can I cancel a 5? 5 goes into 30. When I multiply by 30, can I cancel a 2? Yes. So you need to find the least common multiple, the smallest number that they all divide into. I'm going to give you a hint. Multiply them all together. You usually find your answer. 3 times 5 times 2. Okay? We need to multiply every single piece of this equation times 30. Looks like this. 30 times -4/3 x plus 30 times -1/5 equals 30 times -3/2. So all I did is write a 30 in front of every single one of those terms. Remember, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. Really, 30 is over 1, yes? Okay, so here's where we got to reduce. 3 goes into 3 once. 3 goes into 30 10 times, then multiply. 10 times negative 4x is 10 times negative 4x, negative 40x. 5 goes into 5 once, into 30 6 times. 6 times negative 1, negative 6. 2 goes into 2 once, into 30 15 times. 15 times negative 3, negative 45. Now right here, had I given you that from the beginning, would you have panicked? Not at all. You're like, whole numbers, I got this. So get rid of the fractions, multiply by the denominator, and move on. Okay, so what's my next step? Add 6 to both sides. These cancel. I drag this down. Negative 40x equals. Why are you not writing any of this down? Negative 45 plus 6 is negative 39. Then I by negative 40. Don't you dare pick your calculator up. A negative divided by a negative is a... Now, I already know 39 divided by 40 is a decimal, yes? 40 doesn't go in there evenly. So don't type it into your calculator. Miss Hoff's rules. If it doesn't start with a decimal, you can't give me a decimal. So ask yourself, what goes into 39 and 40? AKA, can I reduce this fraction? No. So your answer is 39 40ths. 39 40ths. So many people want to type in my calculator and like, now how do I make this decimal into a fraction? You typed a fraction in there to get that. Take the fraction you started with. You have to pick a number that can cancel all your denominators. Honest to God, the easiest thing to do, multiply all your denominators together. It'll give you a number that you can cancel all of them. Okay, flip the page. Find the value of 3w plus 2, given that negative 2w plus 7 equals 5. Find the value of 3w plus 2, given that negative 2w plus 7 equals 5. What do I do here? I got to solve for w, and then I'm going to use it, right? Okay? How do I solve for w? Subtract 7 from both sides. Negative 2w equals negative 2. Then divide by negative 2 to both sides. W equals, is that my answer? I want to know the value of 3w plus 2. Well, how do I do that? Substitute in. What did we just calculate w to be? 1. So really I have 3. I'm replacing w with my 1. Notice I put 1 in parentheses. Why would I do that? So make sure I remember I'm multiplying. When you substitute in, always put it in parentheses. What do I do first? Multiply or add? 3 times 1 is, plus 2 is 5. Okay. Maria works as a tutor for $8 an hour and as a waitress for $14 an hour. This month, she worked a combined total of 109 hours at her 2 jobs. Let T be the number of hours Maria worked as a tutor this month. So we have to use the letter T. Write an expression. Expression doesn't have what? There's no equal sign. So we're going to write an expression for the combined total dollar amount she earns this month. So when we're talking about Maria, when you're talking about how much money she earns, we're going to talk about the money she earns as a tutor and the money she earns as a waitress. And what are we going to do to those two amounts? Add them, combined total. Okay? How do I figure out how much money she makes as a tutor? Jackson? Okay. How many hours did she work as a tutor? T. Then what do I do? No. Multiply by 8. If you know your hourly pay, we just got to take it times how many hours you work, right? She makes $8 an hour times every hour. So 8T. Either capital T or loop your T so it doesn't look like a plus sign. Plus, how do I figure out how much money she makes as a waitress? $14 an hour. You can't have another variable. 14T. If you write 14T, you tell me that she's working the same number of hours as a tutor as she is a waitress. Does it say that? No. Can't have another variable. Got to use T. Like this? Where's T plus 6 come from? So T plus 6 would be your hours plus 6. I see what you're saying. I see where your 6 comes from. How many hours does she work as a waitress? You do know. No, that's how much money she makes per hour. How many hours does she work as a waitress? You know. You work 109 total at her 2 jobs. Do I know how many she works as a tutor? No, but they call it T. So how many does she work as a waitress? 109 minus T. She only has 2 jobs, right? And together she works 109. So if I just took out her tutoring hours, I'd have left her waitress. I don't know how many the tutoring is, but I could figure it out with an expression. So when you have 2 things you don't know, you can base them off of each other. Okay, so using this same thought process, now let's look at the next problem. A total of 408 tickets were sold yesterday for the school play. They were either adult tickets or student tickets. There's only 2 types of tickets. The number of student tickets sold was 2 times the number of adult tickets sold. How many adult tickets were sold? The very last sentence, aka the question, is going to tell us where we should put our variable. What letter do you want to use? X equals the number of adult tickets. Okay. Ms. Hoff always pushes for people to write their equations with words before they start sticking numbers in. How many types of tickets do we have? 2 tickets. What were they? Adults and student tickets. Gave me my total. Yes? If we add together the number of adult tickets plus the number of student tickets, we'd have our total tickets. Agreed? Okay. How many adult tickets were sold? Half as much?
It says 2 times students, so yeah.
Somebody said something over here. X said that. X. Why do you say that? Crazy. We just wrote this down. That X represents the number of adult tickets. So how many adult tickets did we sell? X. How many student tickets did we sell? 2 times the number of adult tickets. 2 times means 2x. How many total tickets were sold? 408. Follow where the x and the 2x comes from. Many people just want to write 2x equals 408. You're gonna get it wrong. What's the first thing I do here? Combine like terms. X plus 2x is 3x. Then divide by 3. X equals 139. 136. 18 divided by 3 would be a 6. Yep. How many adult tickets were sold?
136. Yep, 136. No. Yeah. Yeah. 136. Yeah. Tickets sold. Adult tickets sold. Oh my gosh.
One more. Lucy purchased a prepaid phone card for $15. This is old technology, things you guys never even ever heard about. Okay? It looks like a gift card and it's got a number on it. And you pick up a payphone or somebody's landline when you used to have to pay for long distance calls. You guys don't even know what a landline is. Half of you can't even dial out of the high school. Stop talking every time I do. And there's a number on there and there's money preset on there. So you basically call this company, you say, I need to use this money off this, and then it lets you call out. So it's like a gift card, basically. Think of it as a gift card. It's a prepaid gift card that has $15 on it. And when you make a long distance call, it costs you 11 cents a minute to use the card. Lucy used her card only one time to make a long distance call. And the remaining credit, or the balance that's left on there, is $12.69. And they want to know, how many minutes did her call last? And I will once again always say to you that last sentence is usually your indication of what your variable should stand for. What letter do you want to use? X is going to represent the number of minutes her call lasted. Now, no numbers. Absolutely, positively no numbers. Words only. I want us to write the setup to an equation, just like we did up here where we said adults plus students gave us our total tickets. Somebody tell me in this problem, words only, absolutely, positively no numbers, what my equation could get set up to be. Words only, no numbers. Thank you. Words only, no numbers. Help me set this up. Mason.
Remaining credit divided by the cost equals X.
Variable's got to be embedded, and you're not going to have X in your, X is not, that's like a number. I can't answer. I'm not going to let him answer because he's going to be multiple today. No offense to him. The rest of you have to do something. On the one up above, I said the adult tickets plus the student tickets gave me my total tickets. Maddox. No numbers. Emily.
Okay, I think it's card total minus cost per minute multiplied by minutes of the call equals the remaining money on the card.
Card total minus cost per minute. Say it again.
Minus cost per minute times minutes of call equals the remaining total.
How about I change this? I totally agree with the cost of the call. How about that? Which we'll have to figure out by taking the number of minutes times the price per minute. Follow what she just did. Whatever your gift card started with, minus what she spent, right, has to give us what's remaining. Follow her? I wouldn't have done it this way. She's right. I wouldn't have done it this way. I hate subtraction. Thatcher.
You do 15.
No numbers. No numbers.
Oh, I mean the card total. Minus.
No. I don't like subtraction. Hold on. Cassidy.
The remaining balance plus the cost of the call equals the card total.
Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason I do that, Emily is not wrong here at all. I'm horrible at subtraction. Any way I can avoid it, I will. So technically, either one will get this. Okay, I'm going to stick with Emily just because she gave me that answer first, okay? Now we're going to stick some numbers in here. How much is on our card to start with? $15. And I need to subtract how much the cost of the call was. And she even broke this down for us. She said you'd have to take the cost per minute times our minute. 11x?
Oh yeah.
No. Say it.
0 and 11.
It's 11 cents per minute. If you just read 11, you just told me it was $11 for every minute you talked. Equals $12.69. Solve this on your own right now. 15 minus 1100ths x equals $12.69. You got a lot of math to check me on here. Subtract 15 on both sides. I got a negative 2.31.
Yeah.
And then divide by a negative 0.11. 3. Okay. Did you get 21?
Yeah.
Okay. So the answer to our question is how many minutes did her call last? 21 minutes. Question for you. Had you calculated something at like 15.35 as your answer, should you panic?
No.
15.35 minutes.
Oh.
Would that make sense?
No.
Probably not. I would guess 90% of the time, even if you don't talk a whole minute, they're going to charge you for that minute, right? Okay. So when you talk about a prepaid phone card, if you face a problem like this, don't panic. Like, I don't know what that is. It's a gift card. Just think of it as a gift card. Okay? Pencils down, fold your hands so you can listen to everything I'm about to tell you. 97% of what we've done so far has been on Alex, and it's been really nice because you get to have instant feedback if you've gotten it right or wrong. And that's why I love Alex. And Alex is great, but when it comes to like this basic stuff with solving equations, I want to make sure that we're showing our work. So you have a worksheet that consists of 14 problems to go through. And it's kind of a bummer because it's not on Alex, but that's where Miss Hoff comes into play. Do you have Google Classroom for my class? No, I don't have one. Somebody this morning tried to convince me I did. Didn't create one. I promise I don't have one. Okay? I will be the first one to tell you I am Google stupid. Google Classroom, I did it last year, and it was the most horrible moments of my life because I'm not good at it. So where do you go for stuff for my class? My lesson plans. That's where everything's going to be. I'm not going to say it's out of the question that we might have Google Classroom at some point, but right now we don't. So today, you go to the website. You go to lesson plans. What team are you on? Red team. What class are you in? Algebra. It is week 4. Today is Tuesday, September 14th. It tells us that you're going to do an equation, and then it says check your answers here. When you click on this, it will open a Google form. Enter your answers for each question to see if you have calculated an accurate solution. If you need to enter a negative, it should look like this. If you need to enter a fraction, it should look like this. Feel free to use this form as many times as necessary until you get all of the problems correct. If you get stuck, ask for assistance. So this allows me to still make sure that you're writing it down, but also allows you to make sure that you're doing it correctly. Now, none of these are required, so I don't care if you do 1 at a time, if you do 12 at a time, if you go down and only do 13, 14, 15, I don't really care. Don't do 15 because there isn't one. Ha ha ha. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, so you type your answer and I don't care if it's 1, 7, whatever. You hit submit, and then it's going to say view accuracy, and it will green check it if it's right and it'll red X if it's wrong. Close out of it. Then you go back and you can say submit another response. I don't care how many responses you submit, but this way you can ensure that you have this done correctly. We will still grade it tomorrow if you have questions on it right at the beginning of class, but this way I get the best of both worlds. Instant feedback, but also I get to see your work on paper. Cool? The hour is yours. Go to it.